Good morning, good morning, good morning. And thank you for joining me for an incredible episode of Read Me Live. Of course, I am your host, Sharifa Hardy, and today's guest is living the life I've only dreamt about. My story is she's where I dream of going. We're meeting with Shawna today, and she's going to talk to us about knowing and how to awaken the divine guidance and spiritual intuition. Welcome, Shawna. How are you?
Thank you, Sharifa. I am living the life. Yes, I'm loving it.
I,
It's
I, I want to talk about your story, though. I want to talk about your story.
okay.
How how did this all start? How did this come to be?
Well, it found me, but it
Okay.
found me as I think a lot of us could share that spiritual awakening is no party trick. It's often comes at a time when you're in your greatest stress. Life threatening sort of situation, or it feels that way, like
Mhm,
um, a real difficult time, don't know what to do. And
mhm,
this happens to a lot of people, and they either crash and burn and say, woe is me, or
mhm.
they get moving in a spiritual path and say, God, guide me,
Right.
show me the way through this.
Mhm,
And that's what happened to me anyway. And I do hear a lot of people say the same, that at their darkest moment, they
mhm.
reached up and out for guidance instead of crashing down. In it's a combination of both, right? Where we have to say, I surrender. I can't handle this. And that surrender for me was the moment. And then in the ensuing few weeks, when I saw a great light, had several life changing spiritual experiences, and
Mhm.
spirit literally came in my head and said, we can speak through you if you will allow it. And I
Right.
thought, what is that?
Right.
Who said that in my head?
Right.
And spirit said, who did you call?
Ooh, I love that.
And I had been in deep prayer.
Mhm.
So that was the perfect answer. I completely surrendered at that moment and said, of course, you can use me in any way you want.
Oh, wow.
And the
So
awakening was very rapid from there.
so how old were you?
I was 32, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So
I
prior
had
to
just,
32,
or 31, I had just become pregnant with my second child.
oh, that's
I would
beautiful.
have been about 31.
Okay, so prior to your 30s, prior to this time, this awakening, you know, you talk about other people and their awakenings. Many of them can give you stories back to their childhood and when they saw different things, but they didn't
Mhm,
know exactly what it was at that time. Did you
mhm.
have any experiences that when this awakening happened to you, you could look back and say, "Oh, okay, that's what it was. That is what's happening."
Definitely did.
Okay.
Definitely did. Two and a half, I left my body
Oh
and
wow.
joined the angels on the ceiling,
Oh
spoke
wow.
with them. And kind of the minute I realized I'm touching the ceiling, I was that fast back in my body. Um, it's impossible to be totally in spirit and have a
Mhm,
thinking thought in your mental brain.
mhm,
So I did have experiences like that, and intuitive experiences. Once in Girl Scouts, we were going to take a bus up to Santa Barbara to see the mission.
mhm.
And I was just scared. My girlfriend and I were so scared. We were certain the train would jump the track.
Oh wow.
And of course, everyone assured us that that no longer takes place, except
Mm.
that it did.
Oh wow.
We made it up there. We had a great time, but
Mhm.
we had to come on buses home in the middle of the night because right before the train got to the station in Santa Barbara, um, jumped the track.
Wow. So
So
That
yeah,
was a confirmation that what you saw, felt, heard, believed, however you received the message was actually real. But what did your friends say to you after that? I mean, some people get very frightened and they're like, oh my God, she's weird. What happened?
no, I don't think there was any of that as I recall, but I did sometimes during prayer. I can remember church camp,
Mhm,
um, just being in prayer and start talking. I
mhm,
kind of went into my trance and I started talking, and the kids did kind of freak out and say, "Oh, she's talking in another language." And the counselor said, "Well, that's, you know," they made a big fuss, and
mhm.
it was really, I guess it's called talking in tongues.
Right.
And I understood it at the time, whatever I was saying, and I can't recall now what it was, because from there I went into, oh, I'm weird, and everybody's paying attention. They're all fussing around me, and I don't like this. I was only
Mhm.
9 at that
Okay.
time, and I didn't like that.
Mhm,
I also saw auras when I was young, and then when
mhm.
I found out that some people can see auras, I didn't want to be whatever
The
that
some
is,
people.
some people. So, yeah, there were experiences. They were neither positive nor negative. It was people's response that more
Mhm,
sort of put me off. Maybe I didn't want to be weird. I want to fit
mhm,
in, don't we
mhm,
all? And even when I started doing this as a channel in my early 30s, I didn't tell anyone.
mhm,
The word got out over long distance phone calls would come in when my babies were sleeping, and I would
mhm,
do readings that were free
mhm,
and just have people give me feedback if I was way out to lunch or if I was doing something helpful. And I did that
Okay.
for about a year, one a day during the kids' naps.
Mhm,
And it was all people called long distance from who knows where.
mhm.
But the people locally in my little town of Vail, Colorado,
Oh, wow.
my neighbors, didn't know what I was doing because I didn't want to be ostracized for being different. I was an
Right.
accountant.
Oh,
I
wow.
It was a small town. Vail,
Mhm.
Colorado is a small ski town,
Yes.
and I had lived there for many years. And our neighborhood was maybe 12 homes.
Oh,
I
wow.
knew everyone, and I was known as an accountant and someone who
Mhm,
owned a property management company and a stay home mom. So it wasn't really something I felt like saying, oh, by the way, there's this new thing about me. So I kept it quiet and didn't hide it, just
mhm,
didn't mention it. And it grew organically by
mhm,
people, word of mouth, by
mhm.
those that I was reading for across the country.
Okay. So how did you get out of the spiritual psychic closet?
Well, I got divorced, and
Okay.
there's
That'll
something
do it.
called income. So, Spirit had a real talking to me. They
Mhm.
wanted me to start charging. And
Okay.
I said, I love doing it too much. What if I start charging and people quit coming? I really
Right.
like doing this. I really love this is my soul.
Mhm.
And I got real quiet. Spirit said, well, if you won't take our guidance, why should anyone else?
Amen. I love that. That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah, it was very true. So I tentatively, tenuously, maybe is the word better, uh, started charging.
Mhm.
And then when the divorce came about, realized through a lot of guidance and some,
Mhm.
internal struggle,
Mhm.
that I could either go back to being an accountant as an
Mhm.
income, or I could be a psychic. And that's my calling, to be a divine channel.
Mhm.
So I had to charge because those babies got to eat.
They do. You
Mama
gotta
needs
feed the
some food
babies.
too. So I started charging. And at one point, uh, Spirit told me to raise my prices.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, I don't think I can do that. And the phone quit ringing.
Mm.
Again, if you don't listen to us, why should anyone else?
Listen to you.
So I raised my prices. And in that minute that I made that decision, 3 phone calls came in.
Mm.
So my answer was there. There had been quiet. And I said, I don't understand. People were
Mm.
calling. Now no one's calling.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't listen to us. We told you to raise your prices. Okay, I'll raise them. Boom, phone rings.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to walk the talk, I guess, was the answer for me. I was shy,
Mm-hmm.
afraid.
Mm-hmm.
This was, you got to think about 35 years ago.
Yes.
This was just prior to the Body, Mind, and Spirit um, magazine launching the very first psychic network.
Oh,
So
wow.
right before that,
Mm-hmm.
it was an unusual thing to be
Mm-hmm.
doing. And to be unusual, to be different, is not something we humans embrace.
Not at all.
So we're learning as a tribe, aren't we,
We
to be
are.
more inclusive and allowing people to be who they are. That's the greatest blessing. And it's an achievement as a society that we got a long ways to go. We're working on it. I had to be one of the outcasts
Mm-hmm.
and be brave.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of intuitives that probably didn't come out of the closet.
Oh, wow. Wow. I can imagine. But
You're
because it's
three
not all.
generations, aren't you? You're your third
Yes.
generation of an intuitive.
Yes, intuitive readers. But 20 years ago, when my mother told me to go out and do this professionally, I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to stand out. And also in my 20s, I had more of this idea of who am I? Like, who am I to tell people,
Oh,
anything? I don't even have enough experience.
definitely. That imposter syndrome.
100%, a hundred
And
percent.
I have dealt with that off and on over the years more so.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm an intuitive healer and
Okay.
quite good at it, but I was going through some really difficult physical issues of my own.
Mhm.
And it was hard for me to see how can you bring someone in and put hands on healing and apply intuitive measures and sound and so forth to help heal them,
Mhm.
and then go to a doctor's appointment for your own knee that's
Right.
wrecked. But Spirit again said, yeah, I think if we look at every single doctor out there, if there was even one that had never been ill, we couldn't find them. So
Right.
it's true.
So do you think or do you believe that that people get past the imposter syndrome? Do you believe you have gotten past the imposter syndrome?
Some days better than others. I still wonder,
Mhm.
why am I so blessed to get to do this?
Mhm.
And maybe a great violinist does the same sometimes, but they've practiced to get there. It's their
Mhm.
blessing. They bring that music to the
Mhm.
world. And I'm so grateful that they do. Even
Right.
if some days that violinist doesn't feel perfect,
Mhm.
I certainly don't feel perfect,
Mhm.
but I strive to be the very best channel that I can possibly be. I'm devoted to it and
Mhm.
practiced, and
Mhm.
um, I'm not perfect, but you
Nobody's
can
perfect.
still, that's right, and you can still help others.
And you can still help others. I think that's beautiful. So I want to go back to what you do is you help other people awaken their divine guidance and spiritual intuition. Do you believe that everyone has the ability to awaken it?
I do,
Mhm.
same as I believe everyone has the chance to learn violin. But Some of us are gifted further
Okay.
in learning language arts or learning music. Some are gifted attorneys. Some are
Yes.
gifted in math. I was very gifted at mathematics. That's
Okay.
just something I brought in to this
Hmm.
lifetime. So, yes, everyone can
Hmm.
learn to bring out, and I call it understanding your intuitive language.
Okay.
Intuition speaks to each of us in a very fascinating way, not the same for everyone.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've seen that. Every reader is just a little different, right?
Absolutely.
And that's because we have our way of interpreting that intuitive language. Some hear, some see, some feel. I have the sixth sense of smell.
Oh,
And
wow. I've heard about that. I've never met
oh,
anybody, but I've heard about it.
oh, I love it so much. But there's a few times when it's really stinky. So you, you just you just gotta love what you get.
But okay, but anyone can strengthen their abilities and strengthen their skills.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about knowing. What is knowing about?
Knowing. I feel that the difference is I intuitively think
Hmm.
something's going to happen. And the
Okay.
other end of that spectrum is I know.
Something's going to happen.
Yes. And in the Bible, it says, be still and know.
Mm, I love that. I
And
love that. It gave me chills. And every time you go to a psychic or a reader, that's like their confirmation. They'll be like, "Oh, I just
oh,
got
I got
chills."
those God bumps, the
Yes.
chills. Yeah.
And I felt it
Goosebumps.
just when you spoke those words. I was like, you know
Oh,
what? Um that is true. And it's so funny that I have this sign. It's going to be backwards on the screen, but I look at it in my house every day and it says, "Be still and know that I am God." And so when you said be still, it just really resonated with me.
it resonates with me too. And it's all over the place for me. My phone number is 1-800 knowing. My
Okay.
website is divineknowing.com. I named my book that I wrote, it's backwards on the screen.
I can see it knowing.
I won an award for it. I'm very proud for that. And it came out in 2019. The book's called Knowing. The answers.
Wait, can we go back? Can you bring
Oh,
the
sure.
book back? I want to read it says, experience the life changing magic of knowing. Okay, what is the life changing magic? How do you experience it? I know we got to get the book. We're going to tell everybody where they can find the book. But
Oh,
what is
thank you.
experiencing the life changing magic of knowing?
Thank you. That's a good question. That's the difference between, I think, probably I kind of intuitively know
Hmm.
which direction I should go, right?
Hmm.
And often our head and our heart argue and
Hmm.
disagree. So our head says, that doesn't make sense. Don't. That's
Hmm.
silly. You
Hmm.
can't become a psychic and support two little babies on that income.
Right.
And your heart says, or your intuition says, I know, but you must, because that's who you are. It's what you were born for. You came to do that. But everybody says it's stupid. I know, but I know that I know that I know I came to do this work.
Hmm.
And you discover that by going in deep in your meditation and going in deep within,
Hmm.
listening with an intuitive heart, an intuitive soul. It's not, I'm not saying, so anyone can do it. You just
Hmm.
go in and you are open to what you hear, see, taste, touch, smell.
Hmm.
And I believe as you keep record of it, you will be self trained.
Okay.
So if you feel like writing a word down, have pencil and paper ready.
Mhm.
Automatic writing can sometimes break open because you disconnect from your thoughts and you just let the pencil go. And then you can go back and read it and say, wow, I said something really wise and I wasn't thinking that. So you can learn what are my intuitive senses.
Mhm.
And some people can put a yes and a no up there, and
Mhm.
one of them will come forward and brighten.
Okay.
If you just patiently observe, you're not trying,
Mhm.
you're observing. Does that make sense? And the knowing then blossoms,
Mhm.
bubbles up. And the knowing can be the smell of grandma's soup. And you think, wow, I think that was grandma, right?
Right.
So you call her and she says, oh, honey, I was just thinking about you, just penning a little note to you. That's intuition. You knew. You knew because the memory, the essence of Nana's soup smell
Mhm.
came into your essence and you get the God chills, right? And
Right.
you say, well, I know she's thinking of me. Next time I smell that, that's how she comes through.
Mhm.
And you call her up, and sure enough, she says, gosh, I have a pen in my hand, and I'm penning you a note. I grew up when people wrote letters.
I can tell. I think it's beautiful
Long,
though.
well, I'm in my late 60s, so
Oh wow.
we wrote letters.
We
We
wrote.
didn't
I
have,
think we should write more letters today. I don't think we write enough. We interact on a one-on-one basis enough anymore. We just put everything out on social media and we speak to the world. So maybe we need to write more letters. But when I hear you, Shawna, what you're saying to me just sounds so beautiful. It's confirmation for what I know. But for some people who are listening, some people who are watching, who are tuning in, they feel, first of all, we lose some people at meditation because some people feel overwhelmed and feel like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. How, do I have to do it for this length of time? Do I have to do it sitting
right.
up? Do I have to do it laying down? What are some guidelines that you would say to someone who is just going into meditation for the first time?
I'm glad you asked that because I think that's the core to everything.
Okay.
Everything. The core to knowing. Know thyself
Hmm.
is to know God, to know Creator. We are a piece of that.
Hmm.
One of my favorite ways to say that is you're not just creating a masterpiece,
Hmm.
you're the masterpiece already. Painting within it, I don't think I'm saying that exactly like I intend, but like a holograph. You
Okay.
already hold the whole masterpiece that you're painting.
Okay.
You're the painter, you're also the masterpiece. And to get to know that at your core level, it's easy for me to say after
Hmm.
35 years of being my own self.
Hmm.
But you have to use meditation. I see no other way to
Okay.
get to that truth. And so to meditate, because
Hmm.
that is the core, I can tell you how I started. There's many, many ways. I lit a candle. It's very, very important to put your eye up towards the third eye. So
Hmm.
I put the candle above me so that I could look at the candle with my eyes upward.
Hmm.
And then you stare at the candle, but only in observation,
Hmm.
and endeavor to simply observe, including thoughts that may come through, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Or did I hear a knock at the door? Like you really have to control. And so there's a willpower in it
Hmm.
to choose. And this sounds really it doesn't sound right because I'm saying you want to listen to to all your senses so clearly within you. But to
Hmm.
do that, you have to cut them off outside of
Okay.
you. So
Okay.
you have to get so intent on meditation, or in this case, you're looking at the flame of the candle. If you look at a candle lit, it is so fascinating. The center
Hmm.
where the fire blooms and the edges, you really can't say that's the line where that candlelight stops. It, you can't find it in a dark room. You just observe, observe, observe. Thoughts will come up, and you
Hmm.
say to them, in a minute, right now, just the candle, and you go
Hmm.
back, and you go back, and you go back. 5 minutes can seem like an eternity when you're first learning to meditate. I would start with 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
2 minutes. If you can truly, for 2 minutes, say that you thought nothing and only were visualizing the candle center of that
Hmm.
flame, then move on to 3 and 4 and 5.
Hmm.
So I'll meditate 3 hours,
Hmm.
but it seems like minutes because you're not on human time.
Hmm.
So when you get into a very deep meditation, there is no human time and there's no human aging. So if you don't spend money on the expensive age creams, right? Just check out for 3 hours and spend that time in holy communion with spirit, and
Hmm.
time clock stops. No wrinkles.
No wrinkles. We love no
That's
wrinkles.
my advice.
We definitely love no wrinkles. But I want to go
Right.
back to the 3 hours that you are meditating. So what's happening during that time? Are you speaking with spirit? Are you seeing? I mean, because you continue to
Oh,
meditate to this day.
yes, I do. I meditate at least twice a day,
Mhm.
and I'm often in trance 3 to 5 hours a day doing readings.
Okay.
But that is a very different aspect. I
Okay.
entered meditation simply to meditate. I enter that space to be with our Creator, to understand oneness,
Hmm.
and to expand spiritually,
Hmm.
consciously. The fact that it trained me to be a psychic was a side bonus.
Hmm.
I was just blessed with that. And now I understand that yogis, that is something they aspire to through meditation, is to become intuitive, is a stage of spiritual awakening. But when I started meditating, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I just really was no good at sitting still, and I would be up from 5 a.m. till midnight with the babies and tired, but I couldn't stop and just relax. So
Hmm.
I decided I would meditate as my relaxing endeavor. And some people do yoga. Um, they are yogis too.
Hmm.
I am a yogi of meditation.
Okay.
I also do some physical yoga, but
Hmm.
physical yoga can be the physical path to spiritual awakening.
Hmm.
And those who have gotten serious about yoga will say it is life changing.
Hmm.
But there are different kinds of yoga. And meditation is part of yoga, comes from the great rishis, um, wise intuitives,
Hmm.
that really knew oneness with source from the Hindu background. And
Hmm.
in India, we have a lot of these people that have awakened and are one with. They call them gurus, which
Right.
simply means teacher.
Oh, wow. I
So
love that.
Jesus was a guru,
Hmm.
and we call him teacher, right? And Paramahansa Yogananda is a guru, and many other gurus. And
Hmm.
that doesn't come lightly.
Hmm.
You don't call yourself a guru. You become um, you become one with Creator. And there are many examples of that on our earth. And of course, that's the height of intuition. That's
Mhm.
the ultimate.
No, I love
Because
that you use the word becoming. And you become, because that's one of my favorite words these days. And I love that Michelle Obama, that was the title of her book, Becoming, because you're not born the first lady of the United States, you become the first lady of the United States. And so with all the changes that I'm going through in my life, I realized who I was becoming, the person that I was stepping into. And so, like we talked a little bit before pre-show, is that the reason that I created this show is because I felt like if I was going to do it, I wanted to be able to a certain extent, demystify a lot of things that happen with readings and a lot of things that happen with
Mhm.
channels and mediums and psychics, and just get more people to understand that this really is their birthright. Do you feel, because you talked about when 35 years ago when you started, we're not where we need to go, but do you feel that more people are understanding or opening to their own knowing and it's becoming more acceptable?
Absolutely. We can see it. And it's, again, back to the rishis and so forth, it's predicted.
Okay.
And we're just at the very beginning of a 2000 plus year cycle of
Okay.
this awakening. So we in the spiritual field, we're
Mhm.
all hopped up and excited to see it growing and so many people awakening. But there'll be a time when it'll be as normal as going out and smelling the roses. Did you smell that? So,
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I am so honored to have you here. Like I said before, this, what you do is really what I feel like I'm becoming, being called to go that way. Things are just open up for me, different awakenings, people are just showing up and telling me about my gifts. So I think it's a beautiful thing. But one of the things that you were so kind and willing to do is that you are going to do a reading or a session for us.
oh, sure, yeah.
I don't know how that works, so I don't know how, what you need to get into
Oh,
it,
are
or
you wanting me to do that right now?
is that, are you there, or you want to share some more? Because I'm
Sure.
enjoying the conversation. I really enjoy, because I tell people all the time, I'm so grateful, grateful, grateful to God that I was even born into the type of family that I have.
Yes.
Being a third generation reader, my mother is the one who taught me how to read, whereas there's some people who had natural abilities and their
Yes.
family took them to church and tried to have the demons beat out of them. you know
Right.
when I
Right.
speak to my father's not really into psychic things, but he's
Hmm.
really into astrology and numerology. So when I call him and I say, Dad, I'm having a bad day, he's like, well, did you check the position of the moon? And I'm like, Dad, can you 3D
There's
it?
all kinds of tools, right?
Right. And so it's different for me, but I want to see your process and what
Okay.
you want to share, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yes, I had offered that if you want to do a live reading on on the air, that I would do that for one of your callers or for you, and we can have a different show for that, or I can do it right now.
Let's do it right now. We don't
Okay.
have a caller right now. We have people watching, but nobody has commented in the comments.
Okay. Well, let's
So
do it for you.
do it for me. Thank you.
All right.
Do I
Okay.
need a question? Because I have a question, but if not, you just go work your
Sure.
magic.
Yeah. Ask me your question. Before you do, though, let me take a second. I get into a trance, and I'll be
Okay.
right with you. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Heads up, my voice changes a little bit. I'm just letting it come through however it will. So just accept me as I am, would you?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I'll be right with you. Oh, greetings to you, dear one. What a special opportunity. Oh, we are very grateful. Boy, you had a lot of mistruths that you had to let go of, even though being raised in such a soup, in a family with such wisdom and insight, you also had a lot of fallacy that you had to let go of to like take off almost of your consciousness to reveal this pretty gem that you are becoming so clear and light. You have a lot of understanding of people at the hardship level of the heart, and a lot of bringing forth to come. You are more of a facilitator than a reader, because you can read is awesome, right? But also you can bring to the table spirit. And it's like the difference between packaged cookies and something homemade. You can, anyone can go buy packaged cookies, right? But you can offer a sweeter truth that allows people to taste um, a better a better cookie. And we're saying that in terms of like readings, right? So they can learn to, you help them learn to bake for themselves. This is lovely. We hope that the metaphor doesn't make all of us gain weight. But we enjoy the cookies so much more when they have love in them, right? And they have freshness. And this is what you are able to offer to people. You're bringing something fresh and new that they say, I like that new flavor. Let me learn how to bake. And we talk about baking like it is creating a cookie. Well, we are creating a truth sometimes when we speak a truth. Have you ever thought of someone and you wonder, did they call because I thought of them? Or did I think of them because they were going to call? Woo! Chicken and egg stuff, right? And you give people a new way to look at the other side of that. And we just love the way you're awakening what can be for people. It is a pleasure. You have a question, huh?
Yes.
Yes. What made me? What way we can answer?
Okay, I guess my question is twofold. People are saying that I have more gifts and I need to do more, more, more. So I need to bake more cookies. But how? What
Ah,
more should I do?
Ah, this is a very good question. And it's a good question for a lot of your listeners are having exactly that at this moment. What do I do with this recipe for knowing more, right? And it can feel very daunting and overwhelming. What do you mean I should do more, right? I'm dancing as fast as I can. And that's how you're feeling, right?
Yes.
I'm dancing as fast as I can. Perfect. Just keep dancing to the music that you're feeling. And more is coming from you. We look at the rosebud and we don't say, why aren't you in full bloom? We say, oh, you're beautiful little bud. And we'll be there watching as you bloom, as your perfume explodes. And this is you, Sharifa. You are in bloom, but not fully bloomed. And that's what people are saying when they say, you have so much more to do. It's so exciting. But it can only be done one foot in front of the other on the earth plane. So just keep on doing, blooming, and bake something new every day. Don't rely on the same recipe. That's how you bake more cookies. Not thousands, but special each one. So when you see the rosebud, enjoy it. Maybe like eating cookie dough. No one does that, right? But we do. And so then also when it's baked, you still want one of those, right?
Yes.
Same thing. So now your next batch of cookies maybe has cardamom, and you never thought to put that in cookies, and then you like it. Well, this is intuitive baking. We do this quite often. Just smell the different essences in the kitchen and say, I'm going to add that. Lots of intuitive bakers out there. You know who you are. You don't use a recipe. You put a little this, you put a little that, and everyone finds it amazing. That's intuitive cooking, is it not?
It is. It is. It
Many
is.
ways to express intuition. And even if you are massively intuitive, dear ones, you don't have to be a professional psychic. You can use it to play music. And our great composers certainly did not hear every single instrument and how to compose an entire symphony in their human brain. This was done intuitive, a download. They heard the music of the universe, then they put it to paper. Many ways to be a greatly intuitive expression. Painters and artists, those who make up our movie screen and our books that we devour. So wherever you're at, and Sharifa is coming into great bloom, but also to all the other ones we are tuned into here, bloom where you are planted. And if you're a great composer, don't hold back. The more you touch your intuition, the greater your composition. But you're beautiful as a bud, and you're beautiful in full bloom. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question. That answers my question. I think that was beautiful. I think that was completely beautiful.
Ah, you are beautiful. The essence is a little spicy, aren't you? You like a purple rose. Well, if you smell a purple rose, go find one. There's a little tiny spicy, like a little carnation smell, maybe. Little
Mhm.
spicy and very lovely. Purple tea rose. That is you, dear one.
Purple tea rose. Well, maybe I'll look out and I'll see if a purple tea rose appears along my path. I don't know. I've never seen a purple tea rose.
Ah, well, privately we will send you one. Yes?
Yes.
Good day
Yes.
to you.
Good day to you. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. I thank you for doing that for us. Thank you for taking the time. I want to thank Lionel for tuning in. Lionel said when he was listening to you, he said, I definitely agree. And he said, wow, that's a great breakdown. So are you one of those channels who remember what was said or you don't remember what was said? How does that work?
It's a little bit like waking up from a dream
Hmm.
in the morning. If you wake up gently and you try, you can recall a bit of your dream, right? But if you get up, brush your teeth, go about your day, and it flashes maybe later on, so you don't
Hmm.
really remember at all. That's I'm here next to myself, observing myself doing this channeling. But
Hmm.
mostly I just go up and out, and it drops through, and it's kind of just an explosion of its own, and I let it rip.
No, it's beautiful. That the answer to my question, because I asked the question, I don't remember what the question was. I was so focused on, but basically, because people are saying, Sharifa, use your gifts, use your gifts, use your gifts. And people I feel are saying, do more and do more and do more, because I've been just doing the readings. And that's why I was nervous to even do a reading for you. Because I'm like, Shauna's not going to want a reading from little old me. She can channel, she can do all these other things. But what came through was that my readings are different. It's like kind of a different recipe, and that there's a difference
Mhm.
between store bought cookies and home baked cookies. It's a different feel to it. And so that's what I'm doing. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful confirmation of what to do and what I bring to the table.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. You are of great value what you're doing right now, and you'll do what's next when it's time.
Okay, so do we get to do a reading for you, Shauna?
Okay, sure.
I'm
Let's
pretty
do a
sure.
let's do that.
Okay, because you know what? This is the one show in all the shows. Shauna, are you gonna open your eyes and you gonna talk to me? Don't go channel away on me, Shauna.
I'm
I need
sorry. I'm kind of half in, half out. You caught me. Okay, I'm here. I'm listening.
you don't have to open your eyes like that, Shauna. No, but I was saying that usually I I this is so interesting to me that I usually shuffle as soon as I get on a show, because for
Oh.
me shuffling is, and it does three things for me. Is number one, it's my sign to spirit that I'm about to do a reading. And then number
Mhm.
two, for me, it clears the energy of any readings that I've done prior. And then number three, it allows me to just kind of concentrate and focus and tap in and focus on the person I'm reading for. So I shuffle for like 30 minutes and then I start the reading. And I was so engrossed in the conversation and wanted to know what was going to be channeled that I didn't even touch the card. So I'm like, this is new for me. I've never had anyone channel on a show. I promise you
Oh,
that.
wow.
And it
Well,
was
I
beautiful.
I have probably not. I've channeled on radio,
Okay.
and I guess on TV long time ago, like a cable channel,
Okay.
and I've done some live groups. But this first podcast live, so
Okay. We both have
first
some first.
first for us both.
Yes. Okay. So that means that since we both had a few first,
Hmm.
I tell everybody my recipe. I'm gonna use that from now on, since Shauna's show is my recipe is different for a lot of readers. I spend a lot of time teaching, and that was the moral of the show for me. The point of the show is to teach people. So the people who tune
Mm.
in and watch my shows on a regular basis is they learn the cards, they learn my stories, they get to hear from me
Hmm.
what I think about readings, right? But for me, it's just
Yes.
signs and it's just symbols and it's just pictures I use to connect, right? So
Mm.
overall, the first card for me is always the person's issue, their main theme that they're going through in their lives. Okay, right?
Yes.
Did you start with the cards?
Yeah, I have a whole start card story, but it would take up too much time. But yes,
Okay, so
but
let me get to.
I related to exactly what you were saying about the tarot, how um, it's almost like the little engine gets going of
Yes,
we're getting
yes.
ready to be ready. We're going to read for this person. We're absorbing that energy and that intention, winding into it.
Winding into it. So I've wound into Shauna's energy. And your main issue, Shauna, for me is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles, right? So for me, I see the Six of Pentacles as your main energy. I always suggest that when I do readings, even on shows, that people like for them to write it down, because maybe there's a sign or a symbol that doesn't mean the same thing to you, right? So the
Okay.
Six of Pentacles for me is my charity card, which is always a wonderful sign. This is about
Good.
giving. And one of the things that it shows is a rich man giving to the poor, giving to someone
Oh,
who doesn't have anything. But see, what I believe, especially, how I was raised, that for whatever you give, you are blessed tenfold. So even though this rich man gives $1, the The poor man, he gets a dollar, he receives a dollar, but the rich man knows that he may not get it from those people, but the universe, God, spirit is going to bless him tenfold for what he gives. So for me, whenever I give
Agree.
with this card, to me this is about giving and sharing. So either you giving to someone or somebody coming in to give to you, and it's just a blessing, something that you bless them with or they bless you with, because um it has to circulate. Okay. So
Hmm.
that's your main theme. Your main issue right now is charity, because the next one that you have is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands for me is glory. So right now you have two sixes, and glory for me is about success. It's about being the victor, coming out ahead, being successful in what you're doing and what you are achieving. Because the next card that I have is the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords for me is about minor decisions, minor choices, right? And so far you have three minor arcana cards. Minor arcana cards for me, arcana meaning change, transformation. These are minor changes, minor transformations. Minor transformations are things that do not change the course of history. These are things that affect you right now, today. So there may be choices that you have to make today, decisions that you have to make today, because you have to make a decision. You can't remain at a stalemate, right? But they're not major arcana cards, major life changes. Major arcana cards are things that change the course of history. Like when you were talking about a prime example of your divorce, right? Your divorce is the what stimulated you to go into this direction and opened
Hmm.
up the channel for you to be able to do what you're doing, because you had, and I talk about that all the time when people talk about, Sharifa, you've done this. I raised millions of dollars. I've met, so many celebrities. I've built businesses. I ran for political office 3 times. I started websites in the 90s. I started my podcast in 2009, but it started because these two little kids came up to me and they said, Mom, what's for dinner? Like, that was my true motivation. That's what started it all, is me understanding and knowing that I was a mom, and the only thing I ever wanted to be in my life is, especially back then. Now I want to open up more and do more, but I
Hmm.
wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So these changes that you're going through are not major changes. They're small choices that you can make on your path. Okay. Because
Hmm.
the next card that you have, and this is everybody knows, if you watch my shows, they know this is my favorite card in the deck. Out of all of them, this is one of my favorite cards. It is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands. And one of the reasons why I love the Eight of Wands is because it is one of those cards where you don't have to do anything. So whatever blessing, whatever charity, whatever it's being given is already on its way to you. There's nothing you have to do to go out and get it. No magic you have to work to make it happen. It's already in the air. It's already on its way to you. There are 8 wands that have already been shot off, and they are on their way to you. So all you have to do at this point is just be open to receive. Be open to receive what is already on its way to you. Okay, wands are action, wands are fire, wands are movement, and they move quickly. So there's quick movement action on its way. Because the next thing that you got is the Five of Swords. Five of Swords. Five of Swords can be petty arguments, petty conflicts. It can be some type of argument or challenges, right?
Hmm.
Because for me, the fives are always about that halfway point. 10 being completion. Fives are always, I'm almost there, I'm halfway there, I'm working through that challenge. And so for me, again, five is a minor arcana card. Everything you have is minor arcana cards, minor changes. So this could be minor arguments, petty arguments, different things like that. Because so often when we want to do something else or we want to do something different, it go in a different direction, or maybe give away all our money. I don't know what it is. There are other people that go, you know what? I don't really think you should do that. So there may be people who disagree with you, but these are not things that are going to change the course of history. These are not things that cannot be corrected. Sometimes we just need to have these conversations and move forward, because the next card that I have for you is the Chariot. And this is your first major arcana card, the Chariot. The
Hmm.
Chariot for me is about moving forward, about clearing through whatever is stuck, whatever stuck energy, it comes through and it clears the battlefield, it clears the field, is in perfect control because things have been going on too long. We need to move forward. So for me, this is a strong message that we have to move forward. We cannot stay stuck in the energy of the Two of Swords, which is for me is a stalemate energy of not making any choice, any decision. We have to move forward. Now in the process, just like in the Six of Wands, the Six of Wands does come back successful. He does come back a winner. But battle, wars, disagreements, changes are not always easy. So just because you're successful, it doesn't mean that it doesn't come with hurt or pain. Just like the chariot has to clear the battlefield. It has to get people out of the way to clear a path forward. But in clearing some of those people away, maybe the horse kicked them. I don't know, right? But it is a possibility, and they may have been hurt. It's not an intentional thing. They're not. It's not malice. There's no maliciousness in it. But you have to move forward. You cannot stay in the same place forever because the next one that you have is the moon. So you're coming up now with your major arcana cards. The moon. The moon for me is about mixed emotions. It's about going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to make that decision from the Two of Swords. So with this mixed emotion, the reason why it's mixed emotions is because you are seen by the light of the moon. And we all know that the moon affects us. It affects our emotions. It affects our feelings. And because we can't see, we may take a tree branch as a scary goblin. We don't know because we can't see. We see by the light of the sun. And so at night is usually when any of our anxieties, any of our fears come up, right? So that's the energy of the moon, the water, these feelings, these emotions that are happening. Because the next card that you have is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles for me is always my go shopping card. And the reason I call it my go shopping card is because the Four of Pentacles is my miser card, right? She is holding on to those Four of Pentacles. She like, you not gonna get my money, right? So again, there's a message here about letting go. So I look at the Four of Pentacles, even if it's not a financial thing, this is about letting go, right? Because the Pentacles, the currency, the money has to flow. It's a current. It needs to flow. And if it doesn't flow out in different directions, it cannot come back tenfold if you hold on too tight. So I always tell the people, and I always joke, go shopping, right? Now, don't tell the people that Sharifa said go buy that new house or go buy that BMW. That's not what Sharifa said. It's symbolic. It's symbolism. Like you told the story about the cookies. It's a symbol, right? So go buy, I don't know, go buy some candy. Go buy a cookie. Get the cookie or the rose, right? But it's just showing and symbolic that you know and you trust that there's more than enough, that there's more than enough for you to have. There's more than enough for you to go around, and you don't have to hold on too tight, trying to make sure that you don't lose what you have. So it's about letting go for me, because the next card that you have is the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups. And for me, the Ace of Cups is a beautiful, 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 beautiful sign. It's one of my favorite in the deck. Anytime I get an ace, I just love it because for me, the ace is symbolic for that baby in utero, right? When the baby is in the mother's stomach, it has the full potential to be anything. It could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer, it could be a psychic, but it could also be a criminal, right? Once it's born, it now becomes tangible because it's affected by nature and nurture. It's affected by its environment. It's affected by the things that it goes through. It affects, the challenges that we have in life. So it loses some of the potential. The ace is zero. Zero is unlimited. So cups being loves and emotion. Ace of Cups for me is always about self-love, falling in love with self, falling in love with who you are. Because when you truly love yourself, then you truly understand that you can be, you can go, you can have whatever it is that your heart's desire. So I did a 10 card reading for you. I think I went pretty fast. One of the main reasons I'm going so fast is because I think there's a lot of energy in the air, and we're connecting. I also, because we've taken some time to do other things, but also because I'm like, Shawna knows this. Shawna gets this. And she probably has her own meaning for all of the cards, and she doesn't need me to train or teach or break it down. but I did give some information. But I did do 10 cards, and in the 10-card reading for me, I give the two positions, which is your main theme and your main issue, which is number one. But I always give number 10 because number 10 for me is the final outcome. At the end of the day, Sharifa, you didn't ramble, you done went around the mulberry bush, you done told me everything I need to learn, you done told me what you see. But at the end of the day, on the current course where Shauna is, what does Shauna need to know? And for me, that is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands, when I end on a minor arcana card, that tells me that whatever you're going through, you're not about to go into a major change. That your life, this is your life. And I love how you said at the beginning how you felt blessed that to live your life, right? So it doesn't mean that it's not going to change, it's not going to get better, but what it means is not going to go through any major shifts right now. I'm not feeling a lot of major shifts. So the Five of Wands to me is about, to me, wands are always about creative, being creative, right? It's a lot of career, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of fire, it's a lot of movement. So the Five of Wands to me says that whatever you want to do, like if you make this decision and you let go and you get money and you go in this new direction, it's still basically going to be along the same path, but there may be competition. So the Five of Wands to me is always about stiff competition. But the Seven of Wands to me is always about, the Seven of Wands is my David and Goliath card. It means little David is going up against Goliath. But the Five of Wands is just stiff competition, but it's just people, it's just humans. It's like, I use the example, if you want to open up a bakery, because since we baking all these cookies, that's your heart's desire. I want a bakery. I want my own bakery. You go, well, you know what? Why would people come to my bakery? Why would people buy my cookies? Why? But they're just people. They're just people. There's no reason why you can't have a successful bakery. So the focus is not on what other people are doing or how they're baking their cookies or what they're doing. The focus is on you and your bakery and truly falling in love with yourself and understanding that you make the best dang cookies this side of the Mississippi, right? That's what we know. So basically, to sum it all up, I do see that there's definitely new opportunities coming your way. There's, if resources are needed, there are new resources coming your way, but there is definitely forward movement. But in order to make that forward movement, there has to be a decision where you decide that's what you want to do, and then you use everything you have to make it happen. But don't hold on too tight to resources, because unless that money, those resources flow, then it will create a stoppage, a blockage in what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Very much, yes.
Does that
Thank you.
resonate with you?
Very insightful. Absolutely.
Do you have
Very
questions for
helpful.
me? Do you have questions for me?
No, I don't. I had two different thoughts about what this might be about,
Okay.
and in both cases, the clarity of what I was thinking. I actually I really enjoyed doing the reading online.
Well, thank you. Because the reason I wanted to do it online is because, I have this image in my head and you're helping me with these images, because I have this image of this little me, the little old
Uh,
lady sitting in a corner reading cards, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. If I'm going to do it, I have to bring it out on the light. And I can tell you almost every show, including this one, I've never had anybody channel on a show, but every show, spirit shows up in some way. And I'm like, okay, that's confirmation. That's confirmation that I'm doing what
mhm.
I want to do. And so if I'm going to read, then I want to teach. I want to teach other people, and I want to learn from people like yourself. So the questions that I ask are for the audience, but they're me, for me as well, because I'm like, Shawna, how do I do what you do? How do I get past the cards and just read for people? That's my ultimate goal.
You know what's fun?
What?
I was thinking, how do I do what Sharifa's doing? Because I love, reading for people, and
Mhm.
I kind of think of myself as semi-retired lately. I don't do any networking, or just don't go looking, and I just take
Mhm.
the readings that come in, and it's okay if it's a lot or a little, and I'm just loving life, and I'm
Hmm.
almost 70.
Oh,
But
wow.
I I was thinking how fun to do live readings on the air, and the part I have no idea how to do is the podcast part, the that part. And
Okay.
it's
Well,
just been such
ask
a
Sharifa.
joy, both giving and receiving
Yeah, ask
readings with
Sharifa.
you.
I can help you, teach you all of that. But one of the things that helped me and changed for me is I have a really good friend, one of my partners. We're going to do a gallery reading in 2026, and
Mhm.
she's amazing. Shannon Leichner. Shannon, she's done things all of her life, but like you, and that's how I tell people truth resonates, because when you speak to certain people, they all tell you the same thing, the same exact thing. They just tell it in different ways. So you
Mhm.
started talking about when you were 30, 31, 32, and how you had this awakening. She's done certain things over her life, but what was her awakening, she was laying in the bed, she woke up and she started screaming, I've been shot, I've been shot, there's blood all over me, I'm shot. And she's just going on. And so her husband says to her, he's like, crazy lady, you had a dream, you weren't shot, there's no blood, look, like open your
Right.
eyes, look at the bed, you weren't shot.
Uh-huh.
2 months later, she was shot in the Route 99
Oh,
Vegas shooting, which was one of the largest mass shootings in recent American history, where the guy just started shooting in
mhm.
Vegas. And
Oh,
she helped some other people get out, and she was shot in the same exact spot in her body that she had dreamed 2 months prior. And so
mm,
from that day on, after she was healing everything,
mhm,
she made her life's mission to go out and use her psychic abilities and use her intuition and to
mhm,
channel. And she's an amazing channel, amazing medium. And I was like, Shannon, I want to do what you do. And she said, Sharifa, if I go do a party, I still use the cards, and once
mhm,
somebody of her caliber could tell me that, it made me feel better, because she said it gives somebody something to visually connect to. I can see it and I can get the message and I can tell them, but when they can see it, or they can go Google it, or they can research it for themselves, it resonates a little different, I think.
mhm. I agree with you. I used to do parties and I always brought the tarot cards. I don't know how to read tarot cards, by the way. Um, that was,
You just brought them?
yeah. I just brought them so that people would have something to look at. And then I would use the card to tell them what I needed to tell them. I would
Mhm.
read from the card what I
Right.
saw and give an accurate reading, but not by use of the rules of the tarot. And
That's so beautiful.
that's how I was taught when I picked up the tarot cards and a book,
Mhm.
and I tried to read the book. Everything went haywire in the house. The
Oh,
garage
wow.
door went up and down, so I had to go check on that.
Mhm.
Sprinklers went on. I don't know why, so I had to go check on that.
Mhm.
Somebody came to the door. The dog got loose. The babies cried. Nothing would let me study this book.
Mhm.
And I said, Spirit, what? You're getting in my way. I want to study this book so I can do readings because you told me you want me to do readings. And Spirit said, don't learn the cards, just read them. And I think that's probably what you do as well. You know the rules of the different cards, but you
Mhm.
also see something in them, a piece that comes out. And that's how I learned, was just I might see only the tiniest little flower on a card, and then I'm reading from what I see there. So it was wonderful. You knew what each of the cards meant.
Mhm.
I was just able to just take in your words. I loved
Oh,
it.
that's so beautiful. But it's also confirmation for me, because I was teaching a group of college kids the other day how to read, and they were asking me about how I got the information. And I said, well, here's the thing: no matter when you learn the cards, it will evolve over time.
Hmm.
The cards change as you grow, as you get more experience. Because when you how can you tell someone about their marriage when you've never been on a first date? How can you tell somebody about their career when you've never held a job? Right? So as you experience life, the cards, the readings, the message, and I tell people all the time, the cards have never been wrong, but my interpretation of cards have been wrong because nobody's perfect. But there are times when I've done readings, especially for friends, and then I learn, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they were trying to say. That was the
Mhm.
message. And
Later, you understand.
yes, yes. Oh my gosh, Shawna, this is so beautiful. I tell you, I could learn from you for hours, but we are coming down to the last few seconds of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests a few seconds to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is
Oh,
watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take from away from your appearance here today.
thank you. Thank you for tuning in and for being with Sharifa and I. This has been just truly a divine pleasure. My name is Shawna Allard. I have a website called divineknowing.com, DIVINEKNOWING.com. And my phone number is 800 knowing. Knowing is my branding, I guess. I came up with it before it was called branding. This is my book. It's called Knowing. The answers are within, and it both shares live readings that I have given for people, a lot of shared insight there, and also tells you how to develop your own intuition so that the world can benefit from the knowledge that you bring forth and share. So, love being of service. I'd love to hear from you, and I love doing this. I love helping in this way. Thank you.
Shauna, I want to thank you for being today's guest on Read Me Live. And if you want to be right there where Shauna is in that seat for your own reading, visit my website at readmelive.com. Until next time, everyone have a safe and a blessed